Alien franchise is my favourite collection of two films, and the games that tried to capitalise on the brand never really passed the mark. Later games, such as the incredible Aliens vs Predator arcade game and even Alien Isolation, they managed to get things right. But Alien vs Predator is based on a crossover of two universes, and Alien Isolation has me making noises that worries the dog. Growing up with a Spectrum and a SNES, having watched both Alien and Aliens at an age that I really should not have been watching them, I always longed for a really good Aliens game. What I ended up with was Alien 3 on the SNES. It looked absolutely incredible, but I found the game to be nigh on impossible, and I didn't see past the first level. So, fast forward to today, and here is Aliens Neoplasma, a game by Russian authors E.R., Nick O, and Sanchez, and produced in 2019. Let me just get this out of the way immediately. This is exactly the kind of Alien game I wanted. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best games set in the Alien franchise I have played, period. And it's on the Spectrum. It was made for a competition, and it was released over 30 years after the original films. What a world we live in. Aliens Neoplasma takes inspiration from the original films to tell its own little story, and the atmosphere these guys have struck is absolutely on point, from both an audio and visual standpoint. We're hit with the classic green screen status readout dubbed with ominous droning sci-fi noises before the game plops us straight into the main menu. And then the game begins, and just listen to this for a while. Just bloody lovely. And turning our ears off for a minute, just look at it! The game does a fantastic job with a limited colour palette. It's got an incredible amount of incidental detail to boot. The flickering lights, the machinery, the little spatters of blood. And then they go and put the icing on the cake and give us some fluid animation both for the main character and the two enemies you'll be dealing with throughout, the Facehugger and the Xenomorph. Thankfully, Aliens Neoplasma is more aliens than alien, so we're given a rifle and a big old bag of grenades to help deal with our unfriendly invaders. And good God, how did they make everything feel so good? Combating the Xenomorphs has this really heavy, punchy knockback as each bullet slogs into it. Bang, bang, bang. And these things can really soak up bullets as well. Even though you'll only really need to start shooting a Xenomorph for it to stop dead in its tracks, just watching them absorb bullet after bullet gives them a heavy presence. Oh, and if you forget to shoot them, they're even heftier. Facehuggers aren't quite as much of a threat, but the little buggers do like to sneak up on you, either by dropping out of vents or by crawling along the ceiling and landing on your face. Unlike the Xenomorphs, being caught by a facehugger can be fended off by absolutely panicking your ass off and slamming every button under the sun. Sometimes you'll be confronted with a lovely room full of aliens. A mixture of facehuggers and Xenomorphs is particularly panic-inducing. I'd love to say that this following scene was all my own skill, but I actually just completely lost my ability to think and threw a grenade by accident. Still, I ended up looking like a goddamn space marine in action, and once my heart had stopped racing, I accepted that at least 50% of that accident was pure skill. Gunplay and grenades aren't the only thing that the game has to offer though. Aliens Neoplasma has the structure of a simplified Metroidvania. You don't pick up any new abilities or weapons in order to unlock new areas. You do this by finding computer terminals. It's these devices that relay the story back to you, and it's serviceable. It appears to take inspiration from Ridley Scott's more recent films, which probably isn't a great idea, but the writing is a little wonky. I'm not about to shit on the developers for poor translations. I'm sure they can speak better English than I can Russian, but some sentences do make you scratch your head a bit. Each terminal you come across will open up a new section of the ship, and it's in working out where to go next that the game holds most of its longevity. The game relies on a small amount of backtracking in order to make this work, but it's often laden with surprise, have some more aliens, and it helps to both guide you and stop the boredom from kicking in. That's not to say you won't get lost though. If you're anything like me, you'll sometimes end up spending ages trying to climb to the top of an area with big lasers and single square platforms, only to finally succeed and realise that this wasn't the way that you needed to go at all, because the door is locked.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Only one solution for that. Here's what I like about Aliens Neoplasma. It doesn't waste your time. There are no lives, and each new terminal that you come across acts as a respawn point. So even if you find that you've walked 45 kilometers in the wrong direction, a quick grenade to the gullet will see you back on the right track. You'll respawn with lower health and the same ammo and grenade count that you had when you died, but these can be topped up at specific terminals. Thankfully, much like the computer terminals you need in order to make progress, the spacing of these is pretty much perfect. You're always just about to run out of ammo or just about to die when you come across one of these stations, and it provides a wonderful sense of relief when you do come across one. The one thing I'm a little unsure about is that the enemies don't respawn on death. In one sense, I quite like this, as it means that you're never consistently stuck in an area. You'll always be able to push a little further than last time, but the game is relatively short and the difficulty isn't too high to begin with. It'd be nice to have a difficulty option to switch enemy respawns on, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. It'll take roughly 20 minutes to play through the game if you're really good at it like I am, or if you accidentally grenade things successfully like I do. There are 2 endings to aim for, each of which takes about the same amount of time, so you're probably looking at an hour of gameplay tops with 2 playthroughs. While this doesn't sound like a lot, the game is free. The game is free, and it's been one of the most satisfying playthroughs I've had in a while. It's not all superlative praise, even though I want it to be. A couple of minor criticisms do crop up. Sometimes the game chugs along when the action heats up, and it can lead you to accidentally kill yourself. You can't aim your gun diagonally upwards without also moving forwards, and it can lead you to accidentally kill yourself. And lastly, and it's a weird one, sometimes jump doesn't work. I swear it's not just me. Sometimes jump doesn't work, and it only seems to be in certain areas of the game. There's this one section where you have to climb up boxes, and sometimes the jump button just wouldn't register. It happened at a couple of other points, but was mostly notable here. I played the game a second time, and this time redefined the keys so that jump was a different button. Same issue. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I've seen no other mention anywhere else, so I can't guarantee you'll meet the same issue. Regardless, it's barely a scratch on the game's surface overall. I feel satisfied. That's how I feel right now, satisfied. That an Aliens game could come out in this day and age and not be a giant fart in the face of anyone who enjoys the franchise is just wonderful. I just want to let this game wrap its legs around my face and impregnate my stomach with its offspring, which at a later point will burst from my chest and kill me. I thought that metaphor was going somewhere, sorry.